No one ever thinks pushing a mop bucket down a marble hallway will change their life. Least of all, Aaron Hale, a 34-year-old single dad, calloused by loss and worn down by life's cruelty. After his wife, Lena, passed from a sudden aneurysm 3 years prior, Aaron's world collapsed. Once a promising mechanical engineer, he left his job to care for his newborn daughter, Rosie. When bills mounted and the house slipped through his fingers like sand, he moved into a small basement apartment in Newark. He did what he had to. He worked nights delivering food and finally took the janitor job at Whitmore Industries. Whitmore Industries towered like an obsidian mountain in the city's skyline, a cold, mirrored monolith of glass and steel. And inside it ruled its queen, Victoria Whitmore. Victoria wasn't just the CEO. She was the company. Ruthless, sharp-tongued, and always wrapped in dark gray or navy suits, she moved like winter wind. Clean, precise, untouchable. Whispers about her were legend. No small talk, no tolerance for mistakes, no trace of warmth. Aaron first saw her in the elevator. He wasn't even meant to be in that elevator. The service lift broke, and he'd taken a chance. She stepped in, not glancing his way. The air dropped 5 degrees. She tapped her phone, sharp red nails clacking on the screen like distant thunder. Aaron clutched his mop, thinking only about how not to breathe too loudly. She spoke without looking up. "You're not supposed to use this elevator." The service one's jammed," he muttered. A silence stretched between them. Then, without lifting her eyes, she said, "Next time, walk." He nodded quickly, heart thudding like a trapped drum. She walked out with a swish of her coat, leaving a scent of expensive perfume and ice. But that wasn't the last time they crossed paths. It was a Thursday. Aaron worked late because Rosie had a fever, and he'd come in after settling her with a neighbor. As he passed the glass-walled boardroom, he saw her, alone, sitting at the table, face in her hands. It was the first time she looked human. Something inside him hesitated, then knocked. She looked up, startled, then furrowed her brow. "Yes? You, need anything?" She stared at him for a moment, as if trying to place who he was. "No," she said quickly. But then, almost reluctantly, she added, "Actually, coffee." Aaron blinked. "I don't know where the good stuff is." "I don't drink the good stuff," she said with a hint of a smirk. "I drink whatever burns." He chuckled, surprising both of them. That night he brought her coffee, and she didn't say thank you, but she didn't tell him to leave either. She kept typing while he stood awkwardly, and finally she muttered, "You can sit. I work better with white noise." So he did. A strange rhythm started after that. Every Thursday evening, if she was there, he brought coffee. Sometimes she spoke, sometimes she didn't. But each week the silences grew shorter. Then one night she asked, "What's your story, Hale?" He hesitated. "I had a wife. She died. Got a daughter now. Rosie. She's 5. Smart as hell. Stubborn like her mom." She nodded and didn't look up. But she said, 5 is a beautiful age." It was the first crack in the ice. The next time they met, she asked to see a picture. He showed her one on his phone. Rosie in rain boots too big for her, jumping in a puddle. "She's got your eyes," Victoria murmured, then quickly added, "You can go." But she was changing, slowly. Security guards whispered that she smiled more. The interns didn't flinch when she walked by. The plants in her office suddenly watered. One evening, Aaron found her sitting on the floor of her office, shoes off, hair down. "I got it all, didn't I?" she asked. He blinked. "I built the company. I crushed the competition. I'm the queen of the steel castle. And I can't remember the last time someone hugged me without expecting something in return." He sat beside her. "I can't remember the last time someone hugged me because they were still alive." That night, she didn't ask him to leave. 2 weeks later, Rosie got sick again. Badly. Hospital bad. Aaron missed 2 shifts. When he returned expecting a pink slip, he found an envelope taped to his locker. Inside, a check, $15,000, and a note handwritten, "Use it. No questions." He stormed up to her office. She was mid-meeting. He barged in. "What is this?" he demanded. Victoria stood, calm as ever. "Money. I didn't ask for this." "Number, you didn't." "Why?" he asked, and she paused, the mask slipping again. "Because Rosie deserves to have a father who isn't broken by the weight of this world." For a long moment, they just stared. Then she said, "Do you really think I built all this so I could ignore the one decent man left in this building?" Aaron's heart twisted. "You don't know me. I know what kind of man climbs back up after life flattens him. I know what kind of man makes $15 stretch for a week because his daughter wants a toy train." She stepped closer. "I know I haven't smiled in years, until you." They kissed that night. Not a dramatic kiss, not a desperate one. Just simple, quiet, necessary. It wasn't a fairy tale. Victoria didn't quit her job and Aaron didn't become rich overnight. Rosie still woke up some nights crying for her mom, and some mornings Victoria buried herself in work and forgot to say good morning. But something shifted. Aaron got promoted, not by her, but because he deserved it. Facility coordinator. Better pay, better hours. Victoria, to the shock of the board, began coming down to the staff cafeteria. She and Aaron had coffee, sometimes silently, sometimes laughing over Rosie's latest adventure. No press releases, no grand announcements, just two broken people trying to heal. And one Thursday night, as they stood by the big glass windows overlooking the city, Victoria said almost shyly, "I bought a piano." He looked at her, confused. "You play?" "Number Rosie wants to learn. Thought maybe she could come over." "Sometimes." He smiled. "You sure?" "I'm not sure of anything," she said, touching his hand. "But I want to be." Just like that, the coldest woman in the building became the warmest part of his week, and Aaron realized, some doors don't open unless you're willing to mop the floor first. Aaron didn't believe in fate. He believed in effort, in showing up no matter how tired you were, in doing what needed to be done even when no one noticed. But somewhere deep down, as he watched Rosie sit beside Victoria on the piano bench, her tiny fingers pressing uncertain notes while Victoria pretended not to be impressed, he wondered if maybe, just maybe, some things were meant to happen. Rosie adored her. That surprised him. Victoria wasn't exactly the nurturing type. Yet with Rosie, something softened. She listened. She nodded at every ramble about stuffed animals and dreams of flying cars. And when Rosie fell asleep one evening, curled up against her side, Victoria just sat still for over an hour, not daring to move, like the moment was fragile enough to shatter. Then came the night Victoria opened up completely. They were cleaning up after dinner, something she insisted on doing, even though she clearly had no idea what to do with a sponge. "My father built this company," she said, staring at the sink. "He never smiled, never hugged me, only taught me how to win." Aaron wiped his hands on a dish towel and leaned against the counter. "And did you?" She met his eyes. "I won everything, except a life." He reached for her hand. "You've still got time." She looked at him then, really looked, and said, "Only if I don't waste it pretending I don't need people." That night she asked him to stay, not because she was lonely, not because she needed saving, but because she finally realized she wanted to share her life with him, with Rosie, with the messy, imperfect beauty of what a real family could be. Months passed. Aaron no longer wore a janitor's uniform, but he never forgot what it meant. He still brought her burnt coffee on Thursdays. She still pretended not to like it. And every time Rosie laughed in that big cold apartment that wasn't cold anymore, Aaron knew. He didn't just mop floors to survive. He walked into that building thinking he had nothing left. But he walked out with everything he'd ever needed. If this story moved you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful, emotional stories just like this one. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment that could change everything. Thanks for watching.